We're getting new reports of a big bailout in the works for America's struggling homeowners. The Wall Street Journal reporting that Bank of America is working with the feds on a multi-billion-dollar loan forgiveness plan for American homeowners having difficulty with their mortgages. But should they be doing that? Let's talk about it with Neil Asbury, radio talk show host, and Adam Leitman Bailey, real estate attorney and author of Finding the Uncommon Deal. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about it. Adam, first of all, how would you feel if you're someone who's kept up on your payments knowing others are going to get bailed out? Why should you be supportive if you have kept up with your bills?
Well, I'm not supportive of any time the government interferes with the free market system and contractual relations. The people borrowing money made deals with banks. They should follow them. That being said, it looks like this bailout isn't a bailout. It's actually Congress or Obama administration asking the lenders to take a haircut and make more reasonable refinancing modifications with the actual borrowers.
All right, Neil, are they asking? What's the motivation here? Why would these companies be willing to go along with this?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that the concepts here are pretty complex. But we get back to something that's very easy to understand, and that this is just morally wrong. So every American understands this. Yes, people are going to have to take a haircut here. Like, I'll agree with the previous guest. Just like me, I've had a big haircut, and they're going to have to fess up to these big losses in a big way. But this is not how we win the future, by making Americans wards of the state and just expecting the next handout. You know, do they want health care? Give them health care. Do they need a car? Give them a car. Do they need a house? Give them a house. Do they need a mansion? Give them a mansion. So why these companies would go along with it, they're going to have to take a haircut anyway. So I think that they're expecting the government is going to come out with billions of dollars of forgiveness for them.
All right, Adam, there is reporting that the reason that some of these banks might be willing to go along with this is because it's a way to stave off future litigation against them or claims against them or fines against them by the government. Do you feel like that's the appropriate negotiating structure if you're asking these banks to make these big changes?
That's a tough question, and the answer is yes and no. I actually think that the banks do not have their houses in order, which they do not, and they need foreclosures to get done with. In other words, if they don't have the right documentation to foreclose on homes, then they're not going to be able to. So it's almost good for them to make a deal where they can quicken foreclosures to get these properties on the market into the hands of people that can afford them, versus making some deals and losing some money and making modifications. I don't think this is Democrat, Republican, good guy, bad guy, free market system. I think this is, let's make a deal where we could get these foreclosures done, people that can afford them homes into these homes, and get our economy on the way back where it should be.
All right, Neil, do you think that there should be some type of framework? What would you like to see built into these forgiveness programs? Because, you know, you've talked about and others have talked about frequently that some people just made bad decisions. They got into homes they couldn't afford, and yet they still are maintaining the lifestyle at this point, and if they get bailed out, that's a bonus for them.
And it absolutely is, and we're telling our people it's okay to make bad decisions because the government is going to be there to pick you up. And yes, the banks are going along with it because one way or another, they're not going to be paying the penalties by not having the correct files. And who's going to get passed along with all of this money that the government's ultimately going to bail out another industry, or a bailout number 2 for the bank industry? It's going to be the people who paid their bills. It's going to be the good people who have done the right thing, who have acted responsibly. And all of this cost, one way or another, is going to go to them. This is not how we win the future. This is not how we act as an economic superpower. Those who made mistakes, they're going to have to fess up, pick themselves up, and move on. It's the only way we're going to get this economy back on its feet. Obviously, the markets don't like what's going on here, and this is just another step in this socialist states of America policies that this government is forcing upon us. Let's get back to being the United States of America, where we take responsibility for our actions.
Adam, that's some pretty tough language there.
Right.
I mean, do you think it's a fair point? I mean, because if these banks write this off, does that just go into the netherworld, or is that cost going to show up somewhere else for somebody else?
Well, actually, it's the exact opposite of what he's saying. What Fannie Mae lost $8 billion from March, April, May, and we think June. $8 billion a month. So no one's asking to give more money to Fannie Mae. If anything, in October, we're taking away Fannie Mae money, and we're actually lowering the jumbo loans, and depending on where you live, from $729 to $625 or to $415,000, meaning that it's harder to get a loan as of October. the government's pulling out of government making loans, and what it's saying is, we're going to make it harder for you to get a loan. You need higher credit. You need more money in the bank. And with all that being said, then hopefully only those people that deserve loans actually get them. At the same time, that's going to lower home prices, which is going to really hurt the equity in homes. And what is it really going to hurt? The big elephant in the room, the economy. Less people can afford homes. Less people buying things to fill their homes.
That's the last thing anybody wants. All right, Neil and Adam, thank you both for a spirited debate.
Thank you for having. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, a mystery at the bottom of the sea.